Hello, family. Welcome to Live Your Legacy. So, we made it, y'all. We made it through this year, through this hellish year. Another year, another decade gone. Um, and as difficult as it was, there were some good things that came out of 2020. I will say that. I'm not gonna sit here and go through all that. You guys already know. Um, but I do want to acknowledge a few things. The type of transformations that we've all been forced to endure this year, it was something that none of us have ever experienced in our entire lifetime. And I mean, I don't know what's to come in the future, but considering how rare the energy was in a astrological sense, um I don't think we're going to experience anything like this again. So I just want everybody to take a minute and really think about where you were 10 years ago versus where you're at now. And I'm not talking about your physical world, your outward life. I'm talking about you as an individual. Think about where you were back in 2010. The way you behaved, the way you felt, your mindset, the immaturity. Think about that, and then think about where you're at now. And I don't think not one soul out there can say that they are the same person that they were back in 2010. Because, and if you are, then I don't know. I don't know what you've been doing this whole year, and how you haven't been affected by all of everything, and how it hasn't changed you. Because I don't know not one person who has not been changed by this year alone. Just this year alone, but this decade, like, nobody that I know is in the same place that they were, and I thank God for that. Divine Neptune, if you rock with SpongeBob. Um yeah, none of us are the same as we were back 10 years ago. And that is truly a blessing. I'm not where I was just last year, and that is a blessing. Because, like I said, just this one year, I mean, for me, I can't even the amount of thing my just the way that I think alone is completely different. Completely different. And I feel like now most of us who've been paying attention this past year at least, now have the tools, the necessary tools to move forward and continue this growth, and continue doing life in a much better way than we did before. Granted, yes, like I said, our outward life, maybe circumstances still are not ideal for a lot of people. I can totally understand that, myself included. I'm not where I'm not even where I hoped I'd be at, but that's because 2020 was not at all what I expected back in 2019 this time. So, but anyways, we're all different now. We've all changed, and we've all grown, and now it's like, I think I've used this analogy before, where we're no longer playing the video game, just pressing buttons and hoping that we win, not knowing if we do win, not knowing how the hell we did it. We were just pressing buttons. But now we know what this button does. We know what that button does. We know how to strategically move now. we know a lot now. We know where we went wrong all those years. And we know how to fix it now, and how to move forward with a purpose, strategically, knowing how to win. And that alone, just that is incredible. Like, that is the greatest gift that any of us could have ever gotten, because I know for me, the past 30 years, minus this 1 year, because like I said, I got the clarity that I needed. I was moving blindly. Like, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. Granted, I seen generations and generations and generations do it, and some people, they made it work. They made this stupid ass system work. And I don't even want to say work, but they survived it. But they didn't thrive necessarily. And so I'm following a blueprint of something that may work, may not work, where now I got a foolproof method. You know what I mean? We all, if you've been paying attention, we all pretty much do. We all kind of have a better idea. At least if you don't know the right way, you definitely know the wrong way. You know what not to do. And that says something in itself as well. But we all got something great out of this year. Even those of us who lost people, lost jobs, lost everything. There is still a silver lining. And maybe that's easier for me to say than someone else, because maybe I didn't lose as much as the next man did. I don't know. But I one thing I do know is it's not about who's better off or who's not. Like, it's not it isn't a competition as far as whose life is shittier. It's just a matter of, how are you going to get back up now? How are you going to rebuild while you're standing in the ruins? What are you going to keep? What are you going to just let go and start fresh? Like, what are you going to do now? That's what today. Well, I don't want to just put a whole bunch of pressure on one day and you got to all figure it all out. No, but at least be considering, your next moves now. We got a completely new year coming. Fresh start. A lot of us don't really got much more to lose. So I say put your best foot forward and just take the leap now. If you haven't already, whatever that means to you. But if you don't do anything else, I encourage everybody to please strengthen that relationship with Divine, because that honestly is the only, for me, has been my only constant. When everything else is just, you don't know, you never know. That's one thing I always have, one thing I always know, one thing that's never changed. And that's really the only thing I got, is my faith to get me through everything. And it's gotten me through everything. I learned this year, do not put your faith in man, because man will let you fucking down every time. Do not put your faith in man. No, like, if you don't know, ask God. Don't ask Joe Schmo down the street. Like, don't. For real. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, we got a whole lot of unknown still to get through. And I mean, if you want to do it by yourself, by all means, go for it. But I can guarantee you're not going to get far. You're just not, because Divine is gonna make sure. And you don't gotta believe me, but from what I've seen, Divine is going to make sure that you're put in a situation where you have no other option but to turn to him. So if I were you, I would just do it now instead of making it hard on yourself. And you don't even gotta you don't gotta be this or that or talk a certain way, dress a certain. You don't gotta be anything. You don't have to change anything about yourself. Just start talking. You don't gotta stop drinking. You ain't gotta stop smoking. You ain't gotta stop fucking. You ain't got to do any of it. I mean, I apologize for sounding so out there with it, but it's the truth. Like, people think that, oh, I gotta give up that. I don't want a relationship with God. If I gotta, that's boring. Well, look, you don't gotta do anything. You don't even gotta have a relationship with Divine if you don't want to. But I'm telling y'all, like, I don't know how you plan on doing this life without Divine. And I know I shared this before, but I'm gonna share it again. Like, I used to think that I had a relationship with God, and I really didn't. I didn't know God. I did not know God for myself. I knew what I read in the Bible, or what I heard from somebody else, what I heard in church, or just the universal knowledge of Divine. But I didn't know Divine personally at all. And once I got to know Divine, I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat anything. My life legitimately changed for the better. It may not look like it right now, but I promise you, you will start to see it if you have not already. I see it, I feel it, I know it, and I'm not here to prove anything to anybody. I don't give a shit what you believe, but I know that when I made the conscious decision to open myself up to Divine, to be a vessel, my life drastically changed. My mindset drastically changed. I don't know. You go experience them for yourself. That's all I can say. I don't want to make this super long, but I just hope everybody takes a minute to just reflect on just this year, if anything, and find one good thing to be grateful for, to move into this year with. And keep your mindset on the future, positive things, because if you've been doing the work this year, you got some good shit coming to you, man. I pray that everybody has a blessed year, blessed new decade. Yeah, and just enjoy, guys. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. Love you all. Peace.